They called them savages and uncivilized cannibals. But when you look at what the European colonizers actually did in parts of the Caribbean and the Pacific Islands, you start to wonder, who are the real cannibals? In 1492, Christopher Columbus set foot on the island we now call Haiti, then home to the Taíno and Arawak peoples. These indigenous peoples boasted sophisticated societies, agricultural prowess, and rich cultural traditions. These communities largely welcomed the newcomers, but their hospitality was met with brutality. The Spanish enslaved them, forced them into labor in gold mines, and subjected them to violence and disease. The impact on the Taíno and Arawak populations was catastrophic. Estimates suggest that within a few decades, their numbers plummeted by 80 to 90%. The systemic destruction of the Taíno and Arawak peoples in Haiti is widely recognized by scholars as a form of genocide. And so this wasn't civilization, it was extermination. Now let's journey to Australia, a land rich in culture and history, home to the Aboriginal peoples for over 65,000 years. When British colonizers arrived in 1788, they declared the continent Terra Nullius, or nobody's land. They ignored the sovereignty and existence of Australia's indigenous inhabitants. That legal fiction justified massacres, child abductions, and forced removals. As such, what followed was a brutal campaign of dispossession and violence. Between 1788 and 1930, official estimates say over 10,000 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people were killed across Australia. But that figure is widely considered a conservative undercount. According to some historians, in Queensland alone, the Native Police, a state-sanctioned paramilitary force, was responsible for the deaths of over 24,000 Indigenous people. The atrocities were systematic, carried out by police and government-sanctioned forces to suppress resistance and seize land. The violence was so pervasive that some Aboriginal nations like the Palawa of Tasmania were nearly wiped out in what is referred to as the Black War. This wasn't about bringing civilization, it was about erasing existing ones. Across the Pacific, a different but equally devastating story unfolded. From the 1860s to the early 20th century, a practice known as blackbirding saw tens of thousands of Pacific Islanders, many from Vanuatu, the Solomon Islands, and Papua New Guinea, kidnapped or deceived into indentured labor. These individuals were transported to plantations in Queensland, Australia, and other colonies, where they endured grueling work conditions akin to slavery. Many never returned home, and their descendants still grapple with the legacy of this exploitation. Moreover, the arrival of Europeans brought diseases to which Pacific Islanders had no immunity. In some regions like Tonga, populations declined up to 86% due to introduced illnesses. Labeling these communities as uncivilized served as a pretext for their subjugation. But the true savagery lay in the actions of the colonizers. So next time you hear about the colonizing mission, you should ask, who got civilized and who got buried?